All right, everybody, we are back again, and we have got with us a really cool, it's a husband and wife paranormal research team out of Minnesota. They are currently filming Chasing Paranormal, a docuseries on their locations that they go to. And one that they are currently working at is the Big Winnie General Store and Resort in, I'm going to butcher it, Minnesota. But if I got that right, awesome. If I got it wrong, they'll let me know here shortly. But Brady and Brady Goble are next. Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name is Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is right.
Then live to send the innocent to their death? Is this justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right. And at this time, let's bring on Brady and Lexi Rue to the show. How are you both doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Yeah. So, man, for anybody that said we had no real connection, and I'm trying to remember how this thing, I think if I remember right, you reached out, messaged me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there was somebody on the podcast at the time. I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was when I kind of got into the whole paranormal scheme and we announced Chasing Paranormal and everything. And yeah, I saw your guys' podcast and I just contacted you right away. I was like, man, I could really get along with these guys. So
yeah, we appreciate it. And that's kind of when we set out doing this, it was one of the things we really wanted to do is kind of get the people that aren't widely known, interview them, because that's been the coolest thing about the story. I mean, everybody knows Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Internet, everybody knows these things. But one of these things like Chasing Paranormal, like you said, that's not going to be something that when we say it, like we're bringing in the husband and wife team from Chasing Paranormal, they're gonna be like, who? Yeah. And that's the purpose. That's what I liked about this show is now everybody that's watching, the groups that I've shared it into, now they're going to get access and they're going to get to see you two and actually get to ask questions of you guys on what got you into this, we'll get into all that. And that's the part that I really love about this.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure, man.
I'm going to move my camera here. Hold on. All right. So, I mean, first off, like I said, I teased at it. For anybody that wants to, you can go to Chasing Paranormal on Facebook. Follow them there. Bless you to the ghost next to me. Yeah. And then, but Instagram, it's Chasing Paranormal MN. And then Twitter is at Chasing Para MN. So follow them both on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you.
And then am I breaking up for anybody or is that just on my end?
No, man, you're coming in great.
Okay, so I'm going to drop out real quick. So Austin, Chris, if you guys just want to talk for a second, I'll be right back in.
So what made y'all start Chasing Paranormal adventures?
Do you want to start?
No.
All right. So the one thing that made us we've been together for 13 years. So, I mean, since I was 15, she was 17, we've been dating ever since, have 2 kids, and we've always had the connection to the paranormal. My parents got me into watching Ghost Hunters and whatnot when I was younger, and yeah, she's always had paranormal experiences in her life that I've not had many of. So we're going to try and put all these talents we have together with video editing, and she's great at finding amazing locations I've never even heard of, that nobody's heard of. I mean, some of these locations that we have are just just awesome, man. I mean, there's not many filming crews have ever been allowed, if any, to any of them. So, I mean, we love the history aspect, and history and the paranormal alone brought us to want to do this, because if we can't find the paranormal, we're bringing everybody with us on right into the history. So it's going to be a really cool ride, man. It really is.
So you all are not gonna do like the ghost hunters, are you? Go in there and yell, "Show me yourself now!" Or
no, man, no. I mean, like, sure, there's gonna be. We love the paranormal aspect, but we also love Bigfoot, and that's huge in Minnesota. If you guys haven't heard that.
Yeah,
I mean, Bigfoot's huge. We love. She got me into the alien. I don't know
about it, but
she doesn't know about it. I don't know about it. We're kind of on the skeptic side, but I'm interested, man. We'll chase it. And there's this town, Reamer, that's really known for it close to us. I mean, Reamer, Minnesota's been on what was on it, Finding Bigfoot. Yeah, I mean, so that's a town. There's sightings there. They have Bigfoot days there. I mean, so we'd love to get out there. A lot of UFO sightings here. I mean, we're not just about the idea of going after ghosts, too. There's going to be a lot of that. But if we can get in with any type of Bigfoot, any type of aliens, that we're more than well open to that as well. So,
wow, that's amazing. Y'all gonna change?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's more. The paranormal is just more than the ghost aspect. You know what I mean? We're thinking of the wide spectrum of paranormal.
That's amazing.
That's really cool. I mean, so now do you envision basically, like you said, so in your show, do you envision just kind of like, you're not only going to just be like, okay, here's a ghost investigation, but now it's going to be this is a hotbed for UFO sightings. We're going to be here.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's exactly what it's about. I mean, isn't that what you'd say? I mean, that's exactly what it's about. I mean, people can watch. I mean, I can give you an example of Expedition X. You can see a show like that, and you can see a couple going together. And we're doing everything all by ourselves. I mean, we're going to have 5-6 cameras rolling on us. We're going to have all the gear you can want for ghost hunts. And then we're going to try and do the Bigfoot hunts whenever we hear about them. We'll do specials on that. But we have a lot of locations for paranormal ghost hunts, but then locations that we want to dig into for more than that, for specials, for show everybody more than just the ghost,
Nice.
So, yeah, man, for sure. Absolutely.
No, because that was one of the questions I was going to, it's like if it was just you two on the investigation team, or if there was somebody else helping you out on that. And then
just us.
Have you started there at the general store yet? Because I know you had bad weather.
Yeah, we had a bad weather delay. It was really bad weather one day. We had to delay it, and we're going to be filming there in the coming days.
So I don't know if you can talk about it. What is the mystery there, or what ghost is supposed to be there?
Well, this place was built. Let me see here. It's built in 1932. It's a 5th generation owner that's owned it. And this place was at former prisoner of war camps as of 1944. German prisoner of wars came here, and there was 80 acres of it and over 30 cabins on it.
Wow.
So now there's only one cabin in it, and we're actually going to be staying in that cabin.
Good luck.
When we're filming. So, yeah, and it's connected to the general store, which there's also, there's footsteps, disembodied voices. There's been a broken bottle that's been thrown off of a shelf and shattered and left a mark there that they can't get rid of. And also, there is the scent of a perfume of his grandmother, the owner's grandmother.
Perfume.
Yes. And then we also just learned that this place is also a former place of the mafia meetup from Chicago to Minneapolis. So, I mean, there is a lot of history in this place, man. I mean, a lot.
It's definitely an interesting looking place too, just like, because I got
absolutely.
That
yeah, Frank Lloyd Wright. Have you guys heard of Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's rumored that he had a cabin on Lake Winnebagoshus. That is the lake that this is on. And it's rumored that he had a part in building this because it's a Bavarian style building. So, yeah, he was apparently residing there at the time that this was built.
Wow.
Yeah,
man. So, I mean, she found this place, and I reached out, and I don't know. They have had, I think they said 2 other crews there, but I think we're going to be the first ones with actual cameras filming it. Mm-hmm. So they're going to give us actual tours of the place. We're going to be staying in the cabin there. I mean, we're investigating straight up. I mean, we're going in with everything. So,
yeah, that's going to be fantastic. Like I said,
and they actually a little scoop is that they actually have the foundations in the basement still in the prisoner of war camp, I guess. So they're going to give us a tour, and we're going to film all this, but just a little sneak peek, Yeah, apparently these basements are still there. So, and it's going to be awesome. It truly is. So,
yeah, because I had a couple of questions. I had a couple of questions prior in advance. Because I was prepared for this, but since it hasn't happened yet, So I'm going to have to frame it this way. I was going to ask you what pieces of equipment yielded the best results. So I'm going to have, what do you envision is going to give you the best results? Because we're going to have to go into future tense instead of past tense.
Hey, I'm just happy we got to do this, man. Thanks for having us. Yeah, no, we'll just carry it on to a second part, like you said. So I don't know, like we have your K2, we have the SB7, we have a really good EVP recorder, we have a Zoom H1N. I mean, we're going on with the best equipment possible. I mean, in our opinion. And a lot of people are iffy on their EMF meters, and people don't like K2s. I do the research and all that, but I got dowsing rods, right? And I'm more excited than ever to just try a pair of dowsing rods, man. Like, people are gonna be like, how excited was I when I got them in the mail, man? I was literally like, oh, the dowsing rods are here, freaking out. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I know she's really excited for, is it the Spirit Box?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the Greater Boston Paranormal Associates that we've had on the show several times, Don DeCristofario, he loves using the dowsing rods.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of cool stuff happen with them.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, I always hear like SB7's like, oh, you can't believe it, whatever. So we're just getting them, and I'm not going to always say everything's going to be 100% a ghost, But I think the dowsing rods, I've seen, there's not much really interference with them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm really interested. In that. I don't know. I'm excited in the EVPs as well. And they really made the claim when I talked to the owners about the perfume scent that they smell. So I hope we can get that, just at least a personal experience on camera. Yeah, we got even more than that now. That was kind of just like the first shebang.
Yeah, here's one of the shots of the gear they got set up for it here. So that's.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got four night vision cameras. We have a filming camera. Yeah, we have 5 cameras right now that we're going to be rolling with us. So, yeah, we're gonna have them rolling at night in separate rooms. I mean, we're gonna be bringing everything. So,
y'all bringing everything. So y'all gonna be team no.
Let's go, man. What's that?
You're gonna be.
I don't know, man. We can sleep at shifts. I don't know.
I know. Go up and visit my sister, and it's like, hey, sis, I'm gonna go visit some people for a day. I'm up here to see you, but I'm gonna go on a ghost hunt. Yeah. go join myself. Yeah, because one of the things. That I too is I really wanted up there. It's especially because if I'm not mistaken, you guys have 2 kids, correct?
Yeah, we have 2 kids. Yep, Avery and Aslan. I think.
Are they interested in it, doing it with you?
Oh yeah, man. My son has like no fear of it. He's probably sitting there like, yeah, I have no fear. He's like, can I go spend the night? No, you are not going anywhere.
They want to go with so bad.
Yeah, man. It's when they're old enough. But right now, sorry kids, I love you, but.
And my brain is like, we got sidetracked. I was going to ask you a follow up on another question we just talked about, too, with the gear. I think one of the biggest things for me is I'm like a skeptical believer, is what I like to refer to myself as. If you two come and say we've seen ghosts, I believe you. I write there, but it's one of those. The ones that show me, I have 10,000 pictures of ghosts and orbs, and I'm like, okay. It's kind of amazing how only you have all these results, and people that have.
Absolutely.
So I'm really big on because people say, well, this stuff doesn't work. Well, I'm a real believer of it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a candle flame. If it's not moving at all, you're sitting on a table looking at it, there's no movement, and then all of a sudden it just starts going everywhere. You're like, you can tell there's no wind, there's nothing right here.
Yep.
And so. For me, like that, even though that's not a true test. Well, something has to explain the change. The EMF meters, those kind of things. So what's causing it to spike? I'm holding it right here. It's not moving. The needle's not moving, and then all of a sudden it just starts going. There's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's.
And that's kind of where I go. It's not something where I immediately like, see, that's proof. I'm like, no. Now I'm in the scientific mode in my head. It's just like, okay, let's figure out why. Why did it work? Why did and go through these things. And I think that's one of the things like where people are like, aren't you going to be afraid? I'm like, no, because I come to it from this analytical side. I'm not all psyched up that, oh my God, this rumored demon of the country store is going to attack me. I'm just like, let's go find out, why are these glasses flying off the thing? Is it You know,
absolutely.
Did somebody put a little too much pledge on the brass rails, and that's why the glasses are flying off? You know, just because they just start to slide. I go, you know, that's the type of thing. And when you figure those things out and you watch it, that's the part that makes those shows. When you bring the evidence like that, when you've taken the time to go through all that stuff and say, no, I don't really think this orb is real. I think this is probably insect. This is probably dust.
Yep.
When you go through that thing, to me, I feel you guys are more credible at that point. To for the evidence you brought, because to me that tells me you do your due diligence on making sure that you don't just throw stuff out there just for clicks. Like, check it out what I just discovered.
Absolutely.
Right.
No, man, and and that's one thing that I don't want to edit any of that. We're going to go to places. I'm going to tell people right now, there's going to be times where some of the coolest places we're getting nothing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But even we're literally going to release everything we possibly can, because the history aspect means more to us than the paranormal even. I mean, so we want everybody to go on the adventure into the history that nobody really knows about. I mean, this is a rich in Ojibwe history up here. There's a lot of, we live right by the Leech Lake Reservation. Leech Lake's one of the biggest lakes in Minnesota. And it seems like a lot of the Ojibwe residents didn't seem to even notice the history that this place has. And it's going to be truly incredible for them to see the history that the general store itself holds. I mean, because when we announced this, I mean, it was over 18,000 people saw the post in a day. I mean, It was over 180 shares we've had on the post. I mean, the place is blown up. They want us to go there obviously. And I mean, that's humbling. We didn't expect that. I mean, I expected 5 shares and we got 180 something. Yeah. So
people
I mean,
that have always lived in
unbelievable. And I never pushed the post. I'd never done any of this. I mean, our thing, we made our page in May, and we just figured out we have 2,500 likes on the page. And I mean, I'm not pushing for fame, nothing. I mean, we're literally going in to document, and we're going to use our skills with the photography and videography and go take it, man, And
how long do you plan on being there?
Being where? We're going for the day. We're going for a full day, man. It's going to be a whole night. Yep.
It's just going to be a one night thing. It's not going to be like a multiple night. Like
we're going to be going there for a full day over to the night. Yeah, we'll be staying in the cabin that's at the building. So,
one of the things, Chris, remember, like I think it was a few days ago, maybe a couple of days ago, we talked about this. I think the day and night, and it's like, do you find that there's, is there a certain time that seems, we always hear the witching hour, 3:00, you always have those things, but I've seen some things where people are getting results like broad daylight, just daytime. You get it just as much as people are getting nothing when it's in the middle of the night.
For sure we have.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Yeah, no, there's been some times where we went out and we've gotten stuff in the middle of the day. I mean, we've gotten EVPs in the middle of the day that we've played, and it's awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping we can find some really cool stuff here, man. I mean, this place seems like it's going to be incredible. Well, can't wait for it.
Just even the fact that you guys are going to be the first ones to actually on camera investigate it is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been this other group from Minnesota that's been there, and they got really credible evidence as well. I mean, that's the reason that she found it. She finds all the locations, and I'll shoot out the emails, and they got back to us instantly wanting us here. So, I mean,
that's
Hi.
that's Brittany, hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it's once again, for everybody, go to Chasing Paranormal on Facebook. Follow these two as this is coming up, because they're going to start releasing a lot of teasers and stuff as they're getting the stuff too. So when you follow them on Instagram and Twitter, you're going to get a lot of those things. And I mean, one of the things, have you found that there's certain spots around you, like Minnesota, that seem to be hotbeds for activity, other than over others? Or is it just kind of like when you were looking for the investigation, you were just searching it up and you found like this general store had some reports and you're like, hey, let's check that out? I mean, so like I said,
I mean, what have you found?
It's really focused around a lot of native territory, and it's a lot of native stories or a lot of native hauntings is what we're finding the most of, really, up here.
Yeah.
Right?
One spot that we're potentially securing, then we'd be the first camera crew to go here, was a big part of the Little Wolf. Little Crow story.
Chief Little Crow.
Yeah. And this house has a big part to do with the story of him. And yeah, it's a Native American story as well. So
really cool.
Yeah. Speaking
really excited about it.
Yeah, Natives American, especially for sure.
No, this one's fresh though, so.
Now here's the thing. Like I brought it up with a couple people from Greater Boston too. It's just so if you ever plan on doing an investigation with a medium, have somebody, especially if you're there, maybe have somebody that's a forensic artist. That's an artist friend that can actually do the composite drawings. So of somebody that's like, they're like, I see this person, and you can come away with a picture of what they look like.
Right. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because that's one of the things, because they always describe, like, we see this person all the time. I'm like, and I mentioned that to them. They're like, we never thought about that. I'm like, oh, that would be so awesome, because that's the thing. So when you have these stories from like the tribes, when you go talk to these nations and you come to them and say, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, well, yeah, here we always see this and this and this. That'd be so cool to have somebody that, yeah, they're here right now talking. What do they look like? And just start to have that thing out there, and then you can put it's like, here's who we were communicating with. And I go, that's awesome when you see those.
Because you're not really cool.
Absolutely, man.
Because you're not going to exactly tell the psychic medium whose house it is. Hey, this is so and so's house, and blah blah blah. So she's going to be in the dark. So you're gonna be like, hey, I need you to draw the sketch of what are you seeing here, and if she just happens to draw the Indian guy that you're talking about, that would be amazing. Like he says his name is so and so, and you're like,
yeah, man. I mean,
that'd be so cool.
She read this story to me, and it just like it's really brutal story of the way he went out, and it's like, man, we got to go to this place. Like we have to, and we got a hold of them, and they're having a meeting about it. So, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be the first to go in there. This place from the 1800s, so it'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, Chris.
So when you say you have a lot of UFO sightings up there, in your area, like we discussed in other episodes on how close, what is the closest military base to you all? I'm not familiar with your area.
It'd be Camp Ripley, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Camp Ripley. It'd be about an hour away. Yeah, about an hour away from us.
See, if you like do all the circulations and circle back to like military bases, there's a couple other cities we've talked about in other podcasts and other shows that they're right close to military bases, and they have a lot of UFO sightings. So who knows that?
Yeah, I'll take back on a lot, but I mean, from what she's read to me, there's been more than what I've ever asked her about. Because I'm not the biggest believer in UFOs. Like I'm not saying that, but I don't believe in the eyes, the fingers and all that stuff. And yeah, but she's kind of got me to open my eyes up to it. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm the
nerd.
She's the nerd when it comes to that stuff. And now there's been a lot around here compared to the normal. So I don't know.
I've got UFO stuff all over the place. That's just
yeah, no, dude. Like I'm open to anything. So
I even have my, I want to believe. Picture back,
dude. I'm all in. Let's go.
Yeah, there's because I was looking at here while you're talking about too. It's the Warren, Minnesota UFO incident was one of the big ones. That's over there by North Dakota. Yep. And that's when I think that's where the cool part. A lot of the ones that we talk about and get your guys' take on it. I think one of the reasons why we've seen such a big uptick in UFO sightings the last couple of years is due to COVID. Specifically, it's because everybody's home and everybody's now taking time. They're spending more time outdoors, looking up, seeing stuff because one, not working, spending time at home. You're seeing this, and so I think that's why we've seen such an uptick in the reported dogmen, Bigfoot. You're seeing all these sightings. It's because more people are doing this. So I'm not sure what you guys think on that.
Chupacabra has to be real, right?
Absolutely.
I think Puerto Rican military experiment is what I think.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's
yeah. I've heard about a lot of the Mothman sightings though too. I've been reading on that.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And that's one of those things too. It's like you have military experiments. The Philadelphia experiment. You have these ones that's always been that reported thing of did they open up something that's allowed these things to come through, and that's why we've got these kind of the one-off cryptids, the ones Mothman, the Van Meter, visitor. You have these ones that aren't not like Bigfoot, the ones there are many reported sightings, over history, but you have these ones where it seems like it's just the one-offs, like it's, New Jersey, you have these things that just suddenly appear and then they're gone. And so did they come through something? Was a portal opened to something else? And what we consider, to us, what is a deer, an eagle that's what these creatures are, and one came through. And that's why, for us, it's like, holy crap, the Mothman. Well, this could be a normal winged creature. This could just be something that's a normal over there. But to us, it's just absolutely a, weird looking thing. To them, it's the same thing seeing us. They're like, oh my God, there's all these, 2-legged creatures that were walking around on these feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But that's,
cool.
So, the investigation. So one of the things too, like I wanted to get on, kind of also for a teaser for this, what is the biggest reported thing that's seen at this location? Is there a certain, like, they?
That we don't know.
See, the thing is, everything I've read, I don't see that there's any one more specific than the other, is there? It seems like it's all kind of, they claim that there is footsteps that they hear. They still
Hasn't been much we don't know much about sightings.
Yeah, we don't know much about full body apparitions.
More is hearing things and smells.
Okay.
Yeah, more smell, more sense. They said that they smell that perfume, the perfume, right? They smell the perfume. They hear footsteps, voices, But I don't know anything about apparitions. So that could be a possible. That could be a possible bonus. Yeah, that's why we got extra cameras. So in the hot spots, we'll set them up and see. And
that's
absolutely.
And since you said that, especially about all the extra cameras, and that's one of the things I keep forgetting to ask a lot of these people. So you see, we'll talk like the big shows, like Ghost Adventures, Ghost. You have all these ones. I know it's heavily edited, but one of the biggest things, like I've always asked, and I really want your guys' opinion on this. You have all this gear. Why don't they have all this stuff set up everywhere possible? I mean, there should be absolutely, because they're always like, oh my God, did you see that? No, we didn't have the camera fixing it. Okay, you guys are a high budget thing. Why don't you have 1,700 cameras that have covered every angle possible? That not even a simple gnat crawling across the surface is going to be missed. You're going to catch it all. And that's why I said I've never understood that.
No. And there was just a show recently where one of them, they said that they didn't have enough cameras.
Maybe they're not trying to be transparent. Maybe they're just trying to get just some information out there, but not everything.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like when we're going in, it's going to be more point of view. You know what I mean? We're both going to be operating cameras, and we're going to have at night tripods set up in certain areas. We'll both be walking around with night vision cameras. We have our interview camera, but we're going to be giving the shots to the best spots. So I don't know. I'm hoping we kept some. What's that?
So one of the cameras set around.
Oh yeah, one set around us too when we're doing certain. Of course,
it's
absolutely.
not just me and you.
Not just us. Yes, absolutely.
Here's my face the whole time.
Yeah, but that was the thing. Have you ever watched Skinwalker Ranch? Have you seen those that show?
Yep.
So they had one where they went in the investigation, and my wife brought up the greatest point too, and it was something I was thinking about too. Why didn't they have the cameras strapped to themselves too? They have. It's once again high budget. Like you just. Lexi just said, we're going to have cameras here, but we're also going to have cameras on ourselves. And that was my thing. It's like, why don't you have a camera for a point of view? So when you come by and you say, my God, I just saw a shadow right there in front of me. Well, I got a camera facing that way.
Yep.
Right.
And that's what it's always driven me crazy when you watch these shows. You're like, why aren't you trying? It's like you're trying not to capture stuff. It's like you just want to get something.
No, that's where we'll try to.
That's why I'm saying
have
more
cameras in the room around us. You can see what we are seeing too.
Absolutely. Yep.
REM pods. You always see them. They'll take like one, and they'll have one REM pod in this one room, and there's like 17 rooms. It's like, can you guys not afford 16 more of these things? Have them in every room with a camera on them. And I'm like, this isn't like a mom and pop but low budget project. I mean, it's in that's the part. It's like, I don't know if that drives you guys crazy too when you see this. It's like, why aren't you guys using every tool to your in your
disposal? Yep. Yeah, and there's some that just like going the old school way of barely using any tools. Yeah. Some just like using the EVP recorder and a K2 and nothing else because the traditional way is the better way to some. And I don't have any issue with that. I mean, we're not going in with much. We have a laser grid. That'll be kind of cool to test out. Yeah,
those will be awesome.
But I mean, we're going pretty traditional. You know what I mean? It'll be fun. Sure. A lot of point of view. You're going to see a lot of angled shots, everything. It's going to be really cool.
Well, I think that's where when we talked a little earlier about the dowsing rods, I think that's one of the things that what I really like about that traditional one, especially if you have the free spinning handles on them, because that completely removes the whole, well, you're just moving it with your hands, you're making it move. You can't. If you hold these dowsing rods, these things just spin. You can't manipulate it if you're just holding it. I mean, if you see the wrist, you can tell if they've moved, but if somebody's holding it straight and it's not moving, then all of a sudden they just start going. That's pretty indication that something just happened.
That's what amuses me about them, because you're not doing anything.
I've also brought up in another show, like I'm not solely convinced on dowsing rods. I mean, because if you take your dowsing rods outside and follow water, they move with the gravity of water. I used to work for the water department, and you take like 2 flags, and the flags that you mark the ground with, and you roll them up, and you make like dowsing rods. They'll follow the feed of gravity of water.
Really?
So if you go outside with your dowsing rods and you walk around your front yard, like maybe where your water meter is, and as soon as you hit that stream of water, the dowsing rods are going to face the water, and it's going to lead you. That's how you find water mains and stuff like that. So me personally, I'm not completely sold on the dowsing rods.
Okay, no, that's good to know, man. That's good.
If there's a water line in the building, you might be tracing that water line. So the EVPs, I love the video. I can believe.
Absolutely, man.
Dowsing rods is just kind of like when I used to find water with them. It's like
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, dude, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's well, that's one of those things too. Like in that, especially like magnetism and stuff. Especially when you're using like full copper, that it's not a magnetic pole.
I mean, gravity fed.
No, I know. I'm not talking about the gravity. I'm talking about the part about the copper ones too. Is that eliminates the whole. It was something was magnetic. And it was moving it, and that's where I said a lot of those things. Those free spinning handles, the copper wire, it eliminates a lot of those things. I mean, we've had a few people on that I really.
You heard what the rods work to find shutoffs that have been covered up under the road. Oh, he works for the water department, I guess, too.
Durant, yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's
ours is. I think ours is 100% copper. So the ones that we got,
and that's So what's so besides this one, I mean, I don't want you guys to give anybody a heads up where you're going to be going unless you want to. What's going to be the location after this one?
Well, there is one in Hastings that we're potentially doing, or Duluth. I mean, that's going to be kind of the toss up here. So, her face.
Duluth is a cool town. I like.
Yeah, we got a place in Duluth that's pretty wild. No one's ever been here before. So it's not like your Nopeming. It's not your Glensheen. So, yeah, it's going to be wild. It really is.
Not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be between those two. I mean, we just got to make sure the dates, they're really close in dates. So
just to show what tour, just a little sidetrack. The tourist, you get up there in Duluth and I'm like, oh my God, there's that thing that does the underwear commercials. Duluth Trading Company. I saw that one. I was just like, that's the one that always has those underwear ads. That was the stuff. Yeah, that's the stuff that stuck out to me. And the Duluth Trading Company. Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so those are the silly things like I pick up on, but it's for me, especially I really want to get on an investigation. I mean, I don't really like to use the term hunt. It's still it's so ingrained in your head. It slips out as you're talking about it, but because we're not. Nobody's out. You guys aren't out there trying to hunt, and capture these things. You're just. You want to go out and talk to them. I mean, if you watch one of the episodes with Joey and Tanya, they have a how-to book, to how to deal with a haunted house. The Bill of Rights for these. These are former living species. You have to treat them with respect. And I said that, and we touched on that in the beginning. I mean, is that pretty much from your outset? Is that just going to be your approach where you two want to get the story of these, whatever this is behind this haunting is other than just the evidence? I mean, is it get to the behind the story, like what happened to you. I mean, is that your outset goal?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And one of the questions I'll ask you this, and it's one of the things hardly anybody asks this thing. Why doesn't anybody ask the question, what happened to you when you died? Like, where did you go? Nobody asked that question. Everybody's like, what happened to you? I was murdered, and it comes over the spirit box, okay. Yeah. But it's one of those, the biggest question is what happens to us when we die, but I don't ever have anybody ask, you contacted somebody. We'll just throw a name at it. I've contacted Sally. I'm talking to her through the spirit box. Nobody asked that question. What did you see when you passed? That's what I want to know. Who was it? Was it your favorite dog that greeted you? Was it grandma? That's the question I want.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be a perfect question for like the Duluth location, to where the rumor is that a man committed suicide, but the body was never identified.
Yeah.
So,
and
there's no information, there's no name on who it is, but so that's one thing I'm gonna go find out, who it was, and why,
so we're going to this place of
the real story of what happened.
The real story of what happened, and try and get in communication with the spirit that is a big rumor to the town. So
that's fantastic. And then Joanne had that question. It's like, are you guys, because there's like, you've always heard the term trigger object. You've heard these things, but that one, it's like bringing a gift that you think that they would like. And I think that's where, with Lexi doing her research, it sounds like, she's really done the homework side of this thing. And that's where that would be one of those, this little kid absolutely loves to mess with and so you bring that toy, or you bring, the lady is highly possessive over these antiques, and you bring something that is going to be that, like you said, an offering where they're going to absolutely, because I think that's the best part is that if you come off on that you're not there to exploit. You're there as a I want to understand. I want to meet. I think that's why. Yeah. Because
I don't know. That might be her favorite antique, and she might take it and pop you upside the head with it. So I'll pass on bringing gifts.
Yeah. And this is, maybe you guys have, get your take on this too. Because for me, you see all the people that come away with scratches. They come away with stuff like this. I'm a big believer that a lot of that comes from provocation. That just because I'm not a big believer that if I just walk in a room, all of a sudden some demonic spirit is just going to come on and just start tearing into me like a feral cat. Yeah. And I'm going to come away with scratches, bite marks, and get shoved down the stairs. I think that has to be provoked. It may not be you provoking it, but like if you say something and all of a sudden Lexi's like, holy crap, I just got a scratch on my neck. It's like, what did you say to it in the other room? I didn't say anything. I swear.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to provoke or interrogate. I mean, that's not my intent. Like I'm there for the history. I hope we get communication more than anything, but I'm not poking no bear. I'm not going in there to, come out, and no.
Yeah. Because I'm a believer. When you say, I don't believe in any way that you can just be possessed just by walking into a room. You can be taken over. No. I think it's just like the vampire thing. You have to welcome it in. You have to let it in.
Yes.
And when you say something like, use my energy so you can communicate through this device. Well, that was just come on in. You just invited it in. Mm-hmm. And I think I've got a little homemade one. You use the little motor with a magnet, and it's the generator. And so I have that one. And I think using those is better to, feed off of that. Yep. Use that to get energy. And that's the better way. Cause I just think it's usually when you do the personal, come attached to me, and then, God, why do I feel funny?
I wonder why.
I don't know.
No, I completely agree with that.
So, Austin's big, he's not on the camera right now, but Austin's big fear is that he's going to bring something home. Do you guys have any illusion that that's going to happen?
It's not my fear, it's my family's fear.
Yeah.
I've been looking for the proper ways to, like an investigation, like, is there something you should do beforehand so something doesn't come home with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've thought of that, it's kind of a fear that you always have to have, because I don't know what I'm walking into at certain places. You know what I mean? Some places that we've talked to are pretty messed up. So, but I don't know. I believe it could happen. I don't know.
I think too, for me, it falls along a little bit like the provocation side.
Yeah.
I'd say.
How do you feel on it?
Kind of depends on how open you are to it.
Yeah, I mean,
how much you open up yourself to it, That's kind of how I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. It's because I honestly I don't have a fear. I mean, have you felt at any time, the famous, you see Aaron, it's like, tick and like, oh my God, and they go running out of the room, because they're freaked out. I'm like, to me, that's the whole reason why you're there, is you want something to move. I
say that all the time. Like they look so dumb when you're like, if you're here, show me or make sound, and then they bang on the wall and they scream like, oh my God.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get out of here and go to the next room.
You just ask them for that. So, I mean.
You see them running around and like, I'm like, at that point, it would just be, Brady, get in here now. It's like, it's not running away. It's like, there's I love the part where they're like, thank you for doing that. Could you do something? It's like, I hear you. I understand. And that's, and because that's the whole point, is you want to document.
Yeah, and I get everybody has a different fear threshold, but I get what you mean, like on camera.
You asked them for it.
They're there for that reason. They asked them for that. Then you run off.
Yeah. It's you take somebody that's, and that's why I always joke around. That's going to be Austin if we ever get around to doing this. He'll be the one that takes off. Especially if something crashes behind him. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm jealous. I mean, for one, I mean, it's like I could, but it's fantastic part because we've got a couple of locations. I mean, I just gotta do it. I mean, I gotta quit messing around. But it's there. But I mean, one of these things. So this docuseries. I mean, how many episodes do you feel? Like right now, do you guys plan on doing in this Chasing Paranormal? Well, are you going to do it by seasons, or are you just going to kind of be a running episode?
It's going to be. I'm aiming for 4 for sure in Minnesota, and I can announce now for sure next spring we're going to be going down to Iowa and doing some really cool stuff. I mean, really cool stuff in Iowa, and Nebraska potentially as well. So. I mean, we're working on some stuff, and we're going to show for the first 4. We're planning at least 4 episodes in Minnesota, showing all over the state at some places nobody's even heard of. So, and then in Iowa, there's a jail down there close by Mason City. We're thinking about digging into, and that's as much as I'll give.
All right,
it'll be pretty incredible, man.
I was just saying. So, are you thinking that it's possibly going to be, like based off of a state, like do a certain series on each state? I mean, is that like your ultimate goal, or is it just going to be as you go? I mean, to where you could have like, this group, just have it isolated, season, Chasing Paranormal, season Nebraska, season Iowa,
I mean, I don't know. I haven't thought of, like we're trying to find just the best locations possible. And actually, like, I thought to split it into 2 different parts because Nebraska and Iowa, like, they have so many spots. I mean, Nebraska's just, it's insane, man. Like, after we were digging into all this Minnesota and stuff, so we have to do it in 2 parts, like, because she's from Iowa. We met, and she's from Iowa originally, and there's so many spots down there that are just incredible. Like, what's the one in what they were just on Spear?
Edinburgh
Manor. Yeah, Edinburgh Manor, that one. They have a haunting at Fair. I mean, they have so many. Villisca. I mean, there's just so many cool places there. So, yeah, we're definitely going down south.
It's definitely a bad problem to have when you got too many locations and not enough time. That's
I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I know. We're definitely looking on tour and all, going around more than just Minnesota. So.
Yeah, because there's places like we talked, a little bit before we got on here. It's just, Illinois. I mean, there's several locations just right in Illinois that are some major, locations.
North Dakota as well. Yeah.
Do you plan on penitentiary, asylums? Do you ever plan on getting to one of the usual?
Yes. A lot of them are, a little scoop, a lot of them are really tough to get into. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have the respect.
They've had a really hard time.
A lot of them have respects for orphanages, and they don't want to bring that type of activity there. A lot of them don't want to disrespect the nursing home aspect and bring that kind of. So yeah, we haven't had any luck with them yet. I mean, I don't know. Fingers crossed. We have emails out to people, but penitentiaries and hospitals we haven't had the best luck with, because a lot of them are kind of turning into museums, and they're not wanting to exploit it for the paranormal side of things. So
and that's kind of where I really think, like, you two and the investigators that are like that are more, and so like Joey and Tanya Medea, the ones that their goal is not sensationalism. We're not here to provoke. We're not here to, to elicit all this, all this activity. It's like, we're more, we want to find the history of this thing. Who is this individual? And
yes.
I think as you make a name for yourself too, I think you're going to see some of these doors opening for you, because that they're going to realize you're not here just for sensationalism. You're actually, especially if it's a museum, how cool is that if you can bring some people in that find out that this ghost that's been going around with footsteps was actually the guy named Tom that ended up doing these things, and you find all this information for them. Now they have it for the museum. They actually have the stuff that they could add to that, and it ends up becoming, an addition to this thing, as opposed to just these guys used us for their show and now they're gone, and now we have to deal with postcards flying off the shelf every night.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is why we don't get discouraged when we get rejected.
I'm
keep looking for the next one.
I expect. I've sent out we've done endless hours of research. Just me and her across the house, different rooms, just researching place after place, shooting ideas, and 95% of the places tell us no. No, because of history. No, they don't want filming there. They don't want to be known for that. And I don't know. We found a lot of cool Civil War places that are going to be in this for sure. Civil War era.
Now, then that's kind of like with the Civil War one too. Are you guys a big believer in the terms failing me right now, but it's where sounds, where like, you have gunfire, cannon fire, you hear the disembodied voices, like the Civil War. Because a lot of people say, like Gettysburg, you can hear the rifles, shooting and stuff. Do you guys, are you guys a big believer in that phenomenon, or is that one of those things? Because a lot of times you don't capture it on you don't capture it on instruments. You're just people like, oh my God, I hear somebody talking. Well, it wasn't on a camera.
How do you feel on that? Well, my theory is if you go to like Gettysburg, for example, imagine how many people died on that field. Imagine the energy that is going to forever, the blood that's in the soil. I love Civil War history, Revolutionary War, always have. And
what's that? 100,000 or something like that?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I believe that you can hear the sounds because of the energy that is there. I believe that there's still that energy to where you would hear that sound. I do. I believe it. I believe that you could hear the gunshots. I definitely believe that.
And that's
absolutely.
There we go. Chris is back. He put the quarters in the machine.
I was answering the question. I was just trying to say, I believe from the bodies, from how many people lost their lives there. Definitely, I believe that you could still hear that. Absolutely.
Have you guys come across anything like that in any of your investigations coming up to this? Have you come across something where clearly it's that sound where you're like, this wasn't a modern day thing. This feels like something from that time period.
Not yet. No.
So that's cool. Yep. You just got photobombed. You just got photobombed by your cat.
Yeah, I love my cat.
Yeah, the cat just did a drive-by back behind you.
Oh yeah, they're always around.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this thing. I said this. I'm trying on the fly because I said half of my questions were based off of you've
already been going.
Yeah, that you've already been there. It's just, and so it's really hard to ask you what your best. But I can do this.
It's
no, go ahead.
It's just kind of like the Bina. I wish we could answer more about it, but the information we've given you and everything. I feel like we're definitely going to come back before we release this for you guys for sure.
Oh, awesome.
We can talk about it. Yeah, we'll definitely come back here with you guys, definitely, because there's so much here with the history and everything. I'd just love to talk about it with you guys. We owe you that for sure. So
I'll kind of phrase the question this way then. It's kind of a two-part, and I'll let you both tackle it however you want. What is the best evidence that you've ever captured, recorded, and what piece of equipment is your favorite?
We got a clear hello with the new recorder we just got, and it was phenomenal. All
at one time. Our kids were with us, actually. They were the ones asking the questions.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
they could actually validate that.
was just like literally a couple days ago. They were all talking to it, and all at once is like, "Hi," and they're like, did they ask if? Didn't they say, "Are you here with us?" He goes,
Yes.
"I'm here," and like just kept responding to him. And it was just wild.
It was
crazy for them.
That's the question. It was just recently we had the best we ever had.
Like it just all at once, just kept responding to him, and it was pretty cool.
Now, can either of your kids see one? I mean, because that's one of the things. Like us as adults, we have this nasty habit of drilling that out of our kids. I feel like I'm guilty of that. To that with my son, and it's just, do you feel like either of you, your kids have that, like where they can see?
Story time.
Our son more than our daughter,
yes.
Really, but they both have. It's really okay. So like my whole life, and it's kind of like gone back through my whole family. There's been like this boy and this girl that like we've all seen. It's like followed us everywhere. We don't know what they're, but they're just this young boy and girl. It's fun with my grandmother, my mother, my uncles. We've all described the same people, but just like
in different ways.
Yeah, just in different ways. Like I've just been like talking about it and explaining, and then they're just like, and then like they'll tell me their experience, and I'm like, wow. And so then a few years ago, at 2 different times, our kids came up to us and told us about, they kept getting woken up in the middle of the night and told us that this boy and this girl just kept waking us up because they just want to play with us. And they kept being like, what they say? I keep trying to go back to sleep, and they just
a boy in a hood.
Yeah, this boy in this hood, and they both described the exact same things at different times.
Yes,
and that they would constantly wake them up. Our son used to play with this little girl in one apartment building.
Yes,
he'd sit back in his bedroom and just play with this little girl all the time, and he would see her in the yard. So yeah, our son definitely sees.
Have you tried to reach out? Have you tried to reach out to the boy and the girl?
Yeah, and I mean that's the most we've gotten is just a couple of highs and I'm here. There was my son was probably about 4, and I was sleeping with my daughter on the couch, and I thought that he had woken up and walked out of his bedroom, and I'm like, bud, like go back to sleep. Like she was a newborn, I had just gotten her to sleep. And so I'm like talking to him, and all of a sudden he comes out of like my bedroom. He was sleeping with Brady, and he goes like rubbing his eyes like, "What, Mom?" And I was like, "What in the world?" And that boy that I saw that was Avery drifted into the bathroom and was like gone. And I'll have to find the picture of it because I have a picture in the mirror which he could not reach, had a small child's handprint and said "hi" in the mirror. It was crazy. I'll have to find the picture of it.
You definitely have to post that picture. Yeah. That's,
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
we have lots of stuff happening in our home all the time.
Well,
so we're not scared at all.
Yeah, it's like kids, we've told the story, a couple times. Like my son has seen a shadow figure. And I made a talisman for him, to hang in his room. It's like, unknowing that, actually, if a stone from the ocean, hung like that, actually, helps ward off these. I didn't know that. I just made it for him, and I just instantly like this will work. And then I found out later, I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. Then I just knew to do that.
That's cool.
But the story, it's when he was little. He was probably about, I want to say he's like 3, maybe 4. We're at my parents' house. We have a picture of my great grandfather up there. And he looked up and he says, "Hey, Dad, that's my grandson." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, that's my grandson." And I just a normal thing, just beating the talent out of your kid. We're just like, yeah, whatever, kid. You're just being silly. Haha. When now looking back on it, it's like he might have been seeing something, and I just sit there and I just completely just blew it off. That it just, and it's those little things where it's just like, I wonder what he was seeing that made him think that he sees this old old, like Victorian looking picture, and he's like, yeah, that's my grandson.
Wow.
That's
so
wild, man.
Yeah, and that's so you get those kind of moments where it's like this channeling thing, and it's really cool. And that's so I mean with you guys, it sounds like you've got a future generation of paranormal investigators on your hands.
Man, I hope so.
Yes.
The family affair. That'll be cool.
Absolutely.
And that's so one of those. And with you guys, and the other part was like I can't remember if you guys said that the equipment. What is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
What's yours?
I like the spirit box. I think it's fun. I
Spirit
don't know.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the K2. I like a K2 meter. I don't know, just traditional, man. Just a 9-volt battery. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, that's that's so it is one of those things. Like I said, I've got an SB7 myself. I got one of those things, trying to mess with it, and so it's definitely one of those things that I really enjoy. Really enjoy it, and that's I've got a couple of recorders, and so it's and this son's trying to.
Yeah, you should tell them about that one time where remember at Wikia. Whenever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So there's he was trying to tell me one of the other stories. Like I said, I'll write it in there, but later here. Yeah. So it's it's hard to remember that while I'm trying to do it online. Yeah. It's what. Yeah. He's had a couple things like times like when he's in the RV. He's seen like what he called a living nightmare. It's
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. So he's seen a shadow figure twice.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's and that's the one I think that he's talking about. And too, it's and that's one. I mean, have your kids ever had one of those things like where you feel like it was a negative, negative influence that they've seen, or has it been mostly positive? Like you said, the two kids,
When we lived in Iowa in this house for a year, and
3 years ago.
Yeah, and that house, man, that did not have a good vibe. We always heard stuff on the other side of the house, footsteps upstairs. I mean, it was just stuff would get thrown out of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's insane. The place was wild.
We would wake up to sound like our daughter was like crying, like she had like a nightmare, and we'd go and check. And she'd just be sound asleep in bed, or the next we'd hear like little girl's laughter. We were downstairs one night and we just heard this huge thud. I mean, it sounded like something was going to come through the floor.
Yep.
And we went upstairs to check on our kids, and our daughter was like she was thrown off her bed. She was like past the foot of her bed. I'm not entirely sure how she would get there, but that one did not feel good. No one who came in there felt good.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good place.
Yeah, that was no, definitely not.
I know I've been in a couple of places where, just the feel of the place feels off. I've never gone to a place where I immediately am like, this place is evil. It's like I gotta get out. I don't ever have those feelings. It's just one of those. It's just kind of like that instinct. You come in here and it's like there's something not right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
You kind of just get a different vibe.
Yeah, it's never been fear, like, I got to get out of here. It's just always been like something's just not sitting like it, but I don't know if it's just I'm not attuned to it, and I'm just still, I'm a muggle, I don't have the talent. I don't know what it is. There was a nerd reference for everybody, huh?
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one of those things for me. It's that I think is really fantastic, especially like I said, with going on too, is how everything is. You guys are coming from it from the thing, like it's not sensationalist. It's like you're really, it seems like you guys are really coming at it from just, we want to find stuff, but we're not going to sensationalize it. I mean, it's just, we're going to tell you flat out. I mean, this may be just us asking a bunch of questions.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yep. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we wanted to go in it for ourselves and to learn the history for ourselves, but it's great to bring everyone with us and,
take them on the chase.
Exactly. Like for instance, when we go to Bina, there's people, who have lived there always and never knew any of this information about it. So it's really cool to be able to, teach them the history of it along with us.
Yeah. So are you through Twitter and Instagram, are you guys going to kind of like live, like real time? Are you going to try to do that as you're going through this thing, or is it just going to be more like a recap?
No, we'll be going live when we're there. I'm not going to announce the exact time, but when we're there, we'll definitely be going live and doing stuff. And
so everybody
we'll
needs
do some experiments on camera.
Yeah, follow them on Twitter and Instagram so you can have that, so you can keep up with that as long as Facebook. Follow them on there because, I mean, we got a little bit of your time too. But like I told you before the show, see how fast that went? It's already been an hour.
Man, dude, you opened her up.
No, I'm still terrified. I'm so awkward. I don't know good at interviews.
Chatterbox.
Yeah,
I'm not good at this.
Yeah, I know I won't lie. The same way I was completely nervous the first couple of shows. It was one of those. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we come from a music side. She's a musician. I am as well, and yeah, we're used to being in front of people in that way. But
yeah,
I'm much better in a large crowd than just a couple little people looking at me.
Isn't that weird how that? And then there's other people where this setting they're completely comfortable and they get in front of a crowd and they're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, play shows in front of 300 people and you're fine. Yeah, and then when there's 5, it's like,
this terrifies me.
And I'm that way.
Bizarre,
and I'm that way. Like here. I completely, like I said, but you put me in front of a crowd of like, if there's a couple hundred people, I'm gonna be doing what Lexi's doing. I'm just gonna freeze up. My mind's just gonna go blank. Yeah, what's that, Chris?
Don't let him tell you that story. I said, don't let him lie to you. He'll be in front of the crowd rocking it.
Yeah, small groups, yes. This one, but yeah, it's then Mona, appreciate that. Not Ross.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good, and that's kind of when for everybody. That's why I wanted to bring them on. I appreciate you reaching out to me too, because that was one of the things. This is what I set out for. Like when I asked the guys to do these, we started live interviews. I really wanted to get to the people that nobody knows about them, and this gets you.
Yeah.
You've got at least 10 people that have eyeballs on you that didn't know who you were before.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I appreciate this so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, we had a riot.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say it anytime. Follow them on Facebook. You guys are you guys on YouTube? I forgot to check that out.
No, so like when we come down to announcing where we're going to be, we have an account made up, but nothing's on it yet, and that's going to be more for like of the actual video content and like streaming the first season and everything, and we'll come out episode by episode, but that'll come soon later on. So the information on that.
Yeah, Mona, thanks again. That's really nice of you. We appreciate that. And it's just
but no YouTube channel for as of right now. We have one up, but we don't have any on it. No,
just Instagram Chasing Paranormal MN, and then Twitter it's at Chasing Para MN. So follow them there. But yeah, definitely, it's like once you guys will get this one, and then probably once you have that one, possibly the next one under your belt. So I'd love to have you back on to go over.
Absolutely, no, man. No, that's what I'm saying. We were hoping we'd have more, but the weather got in the way. So that, at least we could still do this and chat about it and wrap it up. So,
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a true investigator would have gone in a severe thunderstorm. I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
I would have loved to, but with all the cameras and stuff, what do you do, right?
I mean, what's a couple of possible tornadoes? I mean, come on.
Minnesota don't give us.
Yeah, no, it's golf ball size hail, tornadoes.
Yep. Got the Vikings as a football team. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. No, it's with the football. Yeah, the Vikings is a football.
I'm a Packers fan.
All right. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
in Minnesota, that's brave.
Yeah, dude. I know. My parents would probably want to sell me for it, but it's all good.
Yeah, you got two Tampa Bay fans below you there, and you got a Seahawk fan right next to you here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My least favorite teams, I guess.
Especially after last year.
Yeah. You bring on Brady and the instant hate right there. It's like.
Yeah, any guy with the name Brady,
I didn't want him anyway, but hey. That's a different story.
You didn't want him, but he celebrated the Super Bowl.
I told him don't celebrate this.
Oh man, but guys, I just appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
We'll get
appreciate you having us.
Oh yeah, like I said, we'll drive. As you guys get the stuff, just make sure you are more than welcome. Share it on our page. Send it to the group.
I
just it's Three Beards Pod. You go to the group. If you haven't joined it, just join in. And just as you guys get the stuff, you're welcome to share. You're welcome to share as you find stuff like that, and we'll put it up there for you. Get that out. So do not hesitate with that. So.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Billy said, please go to Chasing Paranormal on Facebook. It's right there. I will even bring it up here so people can see it. Make it easy here for everybody here, instead of just talking about it. For those of you listening, it's going to be a little hard, but yeah, just go to Chasing Paranormal. It's right there at Chasing Paranormal MN, on Facebook. So just go click that, follow them. Same way, Twitter, Instagram. Once again, just go follow that. They're going to have the show. So hopefully, when are you guys, slating to have it out?
I'm hoping late fall. I mean, at least an episode worth. That would be. I don't want to push anything. I don't want to put, but I want to make sure we release it right. And I'm hoping late fall. I mean, we'll have a lot of updates on it all, but hopefully, hopefully everything goes right. We can get out a good product and. We'll give you the updates on it. So
sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for sharing the time with us. Get back with the kids there. And like I said, and just as you get evidence and stuff like that, please, like I said, share it. We'd love to follow along. So, all right, Brady, Lexi Rue, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, everybody.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Like I said, follow them. Go to redbubble.com/3beards podcast. That is our merchandise. Or you can also access that through 3beardspodcast.com. Go to the merch section. That or patreon.com/3beards podcast. Adopt one of these homeless looking beards, because that's how we afford the beard oil, is by so you do that. Make one of these beards look like there's actually love and care. And you can do that by going to there.
You're selling me.
Yeah, I know. Look what's happened to Austin. He's had to trim it back because it was looking so homeless and scraggly.
It was bad.
Yeah. So, go all the social medias. If you haven't yet, we're trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers because, even though they told it doesn't happen, I've been told unicorns and rainbows appear when you reach 1,000. Like the world's change. So, yeah, for everybody, it's like if you could do that, we only need 781 more to get there. So we're close. We're super close.
You're almost there, man.
Yeah, so we're almost there. So Zeno Radio app, download that. Search up Patriot Radio, because we are rebroadcast every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, courtesy of JJ Beard Company. Go to jjbeardco.com. Thank them for doing that for us. And once again, thanks for watching. Go check out Chasing Paranormal. They've got some exciting stuff coming up. Pay attention to them.
Absolutely.
So once again, Brady, Lexi Rue, thanks again for being on the show. We wish you the best. Look forward to getting the evidence. And everybody, thanks for watching. Good night.
Take care, guys.